All right, guys, so time for a early midday market recap. This is kind of a mid-morning market recap, but I've got some errands to run around lunchtime, so I wanted to just go over my trades here as we kind of come to the end of the first hour of the day. It's quarter of 11 right now, and really, I haven't traded anything since 10:05. I've had some great trades out at the gates at the open, and now it's slowed down quite a bit in the last 45 minutes. So this seems as good a time as any to do a midday market recap. Now, I'm finishing the day in pretty good shape. I'm up $1,925 in my small account right here. So that puts me up just under 12,500 for tomorrow. And then in my big account, I'm up $5,919. So although this is good, combined being, just under $8,000, I'm actually a little disappointed. And the reason is because my last two trades were losers. I was up about 9,000 and a little over 9,000, 9,300, and I gave back $1,300. So to make nearly 8,000 in a single day and feel a little bit bummed is good in a sense. Having your last trade be a loser keeps me humble. It's kind of a reminder that, well, it was a good day, but then at the very end of winning the race, it's like you got slapped in the face. So you kind of won the race, but you're kind of left with this sour note. And that's where I'm at today. I'm happy with the trades. I feel like it was for the most part, a good day, but I definitely ended with two losers. So the good news is that I'm not going to go into the day tomorrow feeling overconfident because my last trade today, my last two trades were giving back profit, and that's good. You never want to be an overconfident trader because when you get into that mentality, you can start doing some really sloppy stuff. So for those of you that are on screen share, I'll show you my P&L here. I already showed it for those of you on Facebook Live. Let's see. So I don't know if I really deserve to light the candle this morning. It smells good, but because I ended the last two trades, gave back some profit. I don't know. I think I'll just go ahead and light it anyways. Why not? There we go. Okay, so candle of celebration, $8,000. I'll take it. And here's my trades for today. So $1,925 in the small account, and that is pretty good. That puts me about halfway to the $25,000 mark. That's really that's what I've got my sight set on, and I can't wait to get there. It'll be a relief when I get there. I don't know why it'll be such a relief. I mean, it just feels like getting past that point is a big deal, and that's when I'll switch my account, and so I'm excited about that. And then $6,000 in my small account or in my big account will put me up tomorrow around 52,000. And better than either of that is the fact that I'm now up over $35,000 on the month, making this my best month in the last year and a half. So my best month of 2016 was June, and I made 34,500. So as of today, I've shot past that. Obviously, we still have 3 trading days left in the month, so I still have a chance to give up that position as this being the best month. Hopefully, I don't, but I'm not gonna celebrate until the month is done. But right now, as of right now, I am up over $35,000, and I think I might have a chance at 40,000. I just really need a couple more winners, a couple more decent trades, and I'll get there. So let's go over today's trades. We'll talk about what I did right, what I did wrong, and why I feel a little bit disappointed that I gave up some of my profit. And then we'll do some Q&A. So this is going to be a little bit of a shorter recap today, but I'll make sure I get as many questions answered as I can. Okay, so to start, the gap scanner this morning, let me pull this up here. All right, so we're going to do historical data scan for 9 a.m. All right, so you guys can see this is my scanner for 9 a.m. This is what I was looking at. when I'm starting my day and I saw FFHL as our leading gapper with a 4.5 million share float gapping up 40%, and there was news. All right, so this is the stock that I made 1,500 on in my small account, and I made 4,200 on in my big account. So this is right off the watch list. I mean, it was on my watch list, and it was right off the gap scanner. So what made me want to trade that? All right, let me put this over here. So I see it's gapping up, and I go through the same process I go through every day. I wake up, I open my laptop, I check the gap scanner. All right, FFHL, let me take a look at the chart. I look at the chart and I'm like, okay, you know what? This is good. Why is it good? It's good because it's opening above the 200 moving average. It's obviously as well opening above the 9, the 20, and the 50 moving average. So it's opening above any of that resistance. So that's good. And it has a history of being a runner. This is a day where it went from $1.80 up to $4.50. So that's a really big move, right? This is a stock that has a history of making big moves, and today it's gapping up with news. So could today be the day that it makes another big move? And the answer is yes, because it has a history of making moves when it has news. So given that, all I need to do is find my entry. So I'm looking at the chart pre-market and I'm thinking, okay, well, we have a pre-market high here of 360. Pre-market high of 360 looks good. I would like to get in under the $0.50 of 350 if really that's exactly where I would like to get in. But at the same time, this is a stock that if the market opens and it starts to move, I may want to just jump in. And that's what I ended up doing. So the market opened here and we opened at let's see, the open price was actually 370. So we kind of opened high and we dipped down for a second to 351. And when we dipped down, that's when I was like, okay, I'm going to jump in this. So I put out my order to buy 2,500 shares, and I filled. I'll show you right here. I filled 70 shares at 375, only 70. So this was me trying to get in, and I only filled 70 shares. That's so disappointing. I ended up adding up here in the 460s, almost a dollar higher per share. That's where I ended up adding because I wanted to get a piece of the action, but obviously I was trying to get in that at a much lower price. And I was very, very frustrated that my orders didn't get filled. But this is part of the deal. When you're trading a fast-moving stock, you put out an order, and if it moves too fast, it's going to be above where you put your order. I mean, the only way I could have guaranteed I would have gotten my position is if I had used a market order, but then I would have gotten filled a lot higher. Now in my big account, I got filled at 389 and 405. So I filled pretty high in that account. And I was like, that's fine, I can give it some room. But in the small account, I really have to be very dialed in about getting the exact right entry. So you can see here, this started squeezing up. We went up to a high of, let's see, 517. Now, on this candle right here, this is the second candle of the day at 9:31. We had a little bit of a doji. We went up to a high of 72, and then we pulled back. And so as the price came up and started to break over that level, it basically, if you broke down that 1 minute candle into a like 10-second increments, you would see that it went up, it pulled back, and then as it started to curl back up just by watching the price, that's when I got in my SureTrader account and I added there. So I got in at 460 and 462 and 468 and 470. So kind of mixed fills in that area. And then we squeezed from there up to $5. And in that trade, I was able to make, I think it was 30 cents on 4,000 shares. So, in and out, 1,200 bucks. And, I was like, okay, that's good. Meanwhile, I also added in my big account, had 10,000 shares with like a 430 average. We popped up to $5. I sold over the pop. And as we came back down, I stopped out of the rest. So the thing is, realistically, I could have made that same amount of money in SureTrader because I had the buying power. I've got $70,000 in buying power. I could have taken that same exact trade and made $7,000 in SureTrader today. I could have. And I didn't because I didn't get filled on that first order. So, again, a little bit of frustration there. I decided to buy the first 1 minute candle to make a new high, which was an entry over 4.99. So this squeezed up those first three candles, pulled back one candle, first candle to make a new high, I added here. Now, again, as this was starting to spike up, I added. We got the high of 520, and then we rolled over. Now, I sold on both sides, and in SureTrader, on that trade, I had a profit, and in my big account, I gave back $1,000. So, and because you could see how harshly this was rejected. It squeezed up to 520 and then dropped to 430. And this is almost the same thing we saw yesterday on CGTI. First 1 minute candle to make a new high. It's a great setup, and it just did not work. So that was obviously disappointing on that trade. I got myself up to being up 1,900 in my SureTrader account because I got a winner on that first pullback. And in my SpeedTrader account, I held thinking that we might get a move to 550, open up, and I stopped out with a $1,000 loss. So that was the first trade on it. Now, at that point, I was like, all right, you know what? I kind of am feeling a little bit frustrated. And something I'm going to talk about tomorrow is learning to have a sense of a sort of presence of mind when you're starting to feel frustrated and flustered to adjust your trading, because you don't want to trade when you're angry. And so I was starting to feel frustrated. So this FFHL just sort of starts consolidating here. I decided a little while later, right at 10 a.m., that I would add back over $4 for the move, thinking that this was going to be the first 5 minute candle to make a new high, and we would get that curling action and a move up towards 450, maybe even higher. So I added back right here, first 5 minute candle to make a new high, and as you can see, it went red right away, and that's where I lost another $1,000 in my SpeedTrader account, and I lost like 350 or 400 in my small account, and that's why I'm now up only 1,500 on that name. So that was my last trade of the day, and that was the one where I just felt like I got in, it was a good quality setup, it just didn't work. So, it is what it is. I stopped out and took the loss, and I had the cushion on the day to be a little aggressive and take a stab at it, but it just didn't work out. Now, in between my first trade on FFHL and my last trade, I took a trade on MSDI. MSDI was hitting the high-day scanner, the high-day Momo scanner, and I saw this and I was like, okay, this is an interesting one. This is a stock that is also a former runner, has a history of making big moves. And you can see here the alerts on the high-day Momo scanner at 210, 215, 218, etc. At that point, it was up 39% on the day, 40% on the day. So I was like, okay, this looks good. I'm going to jump in, try to ride that momentum. So on this one, I got in. Again, on this, we were on the 1 minute time frame. I got in at, let's see, for the break over 250. I got long at 248 and 250, and we spiked up to a high of 295, which is awesome. Nice quick pop. In my small account, I made $583, and in my big account, I made $1,800, a little over $1,800. So, that was a good trade. And I know today is one of those days where we were just seeing these stocks moving. GLBS, this is another one that I didn't trade today, but in the middle of the morning, it went from $7.50 all the way up to $10. It ran up 2.5 points. I didn't trade it. It went without me, but it just goes to show that this is one of those days where there have been a lot of opportunities, and you've got to be able to, kind of jump from one to the next. And the high-day scanner has just sort of been blowing up all day long. Tons of alerts on this, and some of them I've just looked at, like CPSH, and I said, oh, I think I'm going to pass on it. I ended up not doing too much. PULM, I passed on as well, and it ended up making a pretty nice move from $1.50 up to 260. This will be up almost 100% today. So this is one of those days where being aggressive is going to tide me over potentially for the rest of the month. The rest of the month might be slow. I mean, this whole week has been slow. Up until today, it's been a slow week. So let's see, my total profit today is $7,845. and my total profit on the week is 11,000. So basically 70% of my profits came from today, came from one day, one opportunity, or two trades, whatever it is. And that's an important thing to realize, that if I have a day like this just once, let's just say once a month. Let's say I have a day like this twice a month where I can make $8,000 or so. Well, that's $16,000 a month. And if I could do that twice a month, every month I'll be up over $150,000 this year. It'll be a great year. And so that's kind of the thing of realizing that just 2 days out of the month can make or break your entire year, potentially. When the trading is hot, you have to be aggressive, and when it's slow, you have to have the ability to just be patient and wait for better opportunities. And again, I'm going to talk about this more tomorrow. Tomorrow at lunchtime, we're going to go over the best and worst trades of the week, and we'll talk about one of the kind of my sort of personal lessons from the week. One of the things that has really been something I've been mindful of, which is being patient. And we're also going to do a long Q&A session. So that's tomorrow at lunchtime. We'll go over all my stats for the week and best and worst trades and stuff like that. All right, guys. So let's see. Now, as we go into lunch hour, it's 11 a.m. right now. We were very quick in the morning, lots of opportunities, and that slowed down quickly. Slowed down completely. So now as we go into the lunch hour and in the afternoon, the only things I would really be interested in would be reversals. They're higher priced. STX is one that I was watching for a reversal and ended up being a pretty nice one. But again, you'd have to tie up a lot of money to take that trade. So no trades on that one. GLBS, even though there were maybe some opportunities this morning, it's just not the cleanest one to trade at this point. And you can look at the daily chart. When you look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 doji candles in a row, and those doji candles, they're candles where the open and close is almost the same price. And you've got these long upper and lower wicks. Those are candles of indecision, right? They show that there's a tug of war going on between traders. And I really don't want to trade stocks that have that tug of war. I want to trade stocks that have that I think will have a clear imbalance between buyers and sellers. So, whether it's STX because of news or it's FFHL, choosing which one to trade is just a matter of managing your risk, and doing a risk reward analysis. Which one can I risk the least and have the most profit? And that's almost always going to be stocks under $10, because I could potentially take a very large position, and if it goes up, 50 cents or 80 cents, I'm making 10, 20, 30, 40% gains. All right, so I know some of you guys are watching MAT and Mattel. This is one of those ones that is very active today. Big gap down, consolidation, and is it's definitely worth watching. It has high relative volume. The float is higher, but it's got a big range. We know it's going to trade in a pretty big range, so there'll be a lot of opportunities on that one. But again, the risk is higher in the sense that you're going to tie up more capital to trade that stock. Yeah, Mike, and so that's the thing. You realize with all of these stocks, GLBS, FFLH or FFHL, that you don't want to chase them. You need to have the right entry, because look, there's people that probably bought GLBS up here at the 990s thinking it was going to go over 10. You can get so tunnel vision, so focused on trying to capture profit that you forget, you're out on a ledge without a rope, and you can fall off, and that's the end of it. So you have to be really smart. Now, to answer your question, I try to get in at the apex point of all patterns. So the apex point is the first candle to make a new high. In the case of GLBS, it was around 10:15. First candle to make a new high was breaking over 9:10 or 9:20. So my entry there would be 9:20. Well, I'm going to give it a little offset so I don't run into the issue I had today with FFHL where I only got 70 shares. So I'd put my order usually at like 9:25 or something like that. And I see MYOS popping up here. This is one that we had on our radar because it ran on the same day as FFHL. Now, my concern with this is that the volume is light. I really like the daily chart for this curling action, but our volume today is only 150,000 shares. It's hard because it's a nice setup on the daily, and I could easily see this going back to 4, maybe even 450 or 5. Maybe we'll just watch and see if volume comes into it. I'm not sure if we're going to get the best opportunity though. Even though I like it, I'm concerned we won't see enough volume. Maybe wait till tomorrow, unless we see some big orders start to go through. And David, for scanning, I use Trade Ideas. So that's the platform, that's the software that I use, and then I create all of my own scanners inside it. It's kind of like using like Microsoft Excel. Like you've got the platform, and then you've got to put in your tables and stuff like that, or use your formulas. So that's what I've done here, is created all of these scanners based on what I think are the criteria for home run setups. Every trade that I took today and that I take in general is a limit order, but I use that offset. So if I want to get in a stock at even FFHL, I wanted to get in at 370. I put my order at 375. I thought that was enough room, but I only filled 70 shares at 75, and then it was above my order. So, that's just the way it goes sometimes. But every order is a limit order, and I just use that offset to give myself a little bit of room above the ask so I can hopefully get my full order. Santiago, the 5-cent tick pilot program, I'm just going to give you the link to that. Let's see, 5-cent here, and you can read about it. I've got a video on it and a pretty long article. I offset from the ask price. When I'm buying, I offset from the ask, and when I'm selling, I offset below the bid. Because again, if I want to sell 2,000 shares and there's only 100 sitting on the bid at 354, well, I'd rather just put my order down at 349 and make sure my whole order gets filled. I don't want to have to cancel it and sell it again and that kind of stuff. Thanks, Brett. Yeah, the scanners had PULM today. I passed on it because when I first saw it on the scans, there was a big seller, 50,000 share seller at 202. And I was like, well, this guy's probably going to be an issue. I'm just going to leave it alone. And then, next thing you know, it ended up breaking over that level. But I didn't think it was going to be as clean. All right, guys. So I think that'll do it for me today. Keep MYOS on watch. I'm not sure. I'd just be cautious on it. I definitely have the cushion, but right now you've got 10-cent spread and pretty light volume. So we would need to see some volume coming into that. If you see that ramping volume, you see more and more buyers coming in, the ascending volume on the 5-minute chart, then there may be an opportunity to take a trade over 330, 340, or 350. So 10-cent stop, 20-cent profit target initially. Unfortunately, a 10-cent stop is going to be hard when you've got a 15-cent spread. So have to reduce position size and kind of manage that risk accordingly. All right, guys, I will see you all first thing tomorrow morning.
Let's be honest. If you made it this far, you must have really enjoyed that video. So what's stopping you? Subscribe right here and get email alerts anytime I upload new content. Until then, happy surfing